Have you ever looked at your bills lately and thought, how did it get so expensive just to live on a day to day basis? I mean, the electric bill is higher, your insurance is higher, and it continues to go up. The groceries are costing more. And every time something breaks in the house, it just feels like it's another hit to your bank account. Then maybe you get a raise, right? And somehow it still feels like it's not enough money. You're stretched thin, and now you're sitting there wondering, hmm, would selling my house actually help me breathe financially again? Will it give me the space that I need? And if that's you, I want you to stay with me until the end because um I want to walk you through how to think through the decision to sell or to stay strategically and not based on emotions. Because a lot of homeowners like you are sitting quietly and asking themselves the same question. And this is especially critical right now in the Nashville area. Maybe you bought during a crazy market when homes were getting multiple offers in one particular weekend, and maybe you stretched your budget because you didn't want to miss out on a particular home, right? Maybe this is a home you inherited from someone that you love. Maybe it was passed down to you from generation to generation, and the upkeep is just getting financially heavier and it's more than you ever expected. Life looks different now than it was years ago. That's just the honest truth. Everything is costing more: gas, utilities, insurance, repairs, even simple home maintenance that once felt routine are more expensive. And what people are not having a conversation about is you can love your home and you can still feel financially stressed by it. You can be the most responsible person financially. You can have the best career. You can pay your bills on time and still feel like home ownership is weighing on you when it didn't before. Sometimes I would say the question is no longer, can I keep the house? Sometimes the real question becomes, does keeping the house still make sense for the life that I want moving forward? And listen, that does not make you irresponsible. It does not mean you failed. It means that you're evaluating your life, where you are honestly and authentically in your life. We were all taught that you buy the house, you keep the house, you never sell it, you never let it go. But what happens when life changes, when the career shift, when the debt happens, when your priority changes, when your energies depletes? What do you do then? Sometimes the home that once felt like a blessing to you begins to feel like pressure. So, in this video, I want to walk you through things to think about before you decide to sell your home, um, so that you can pay off the debt. And I want you to actually know the right move for you, the right move for your family, because sometimes selling is the smart choice and sometimes it's not. Either way, you deserve to make the decision from a place of clarity instead of a place of panic. All right. The first thing, don't make this decision emotionally. I know this is easier said than done. It just simply is because homes are an emotional purchase. A lot of memories happened in your home. A lot of sacrifices were made probably to receive that home, and sacrifices within the home happened there as well. Some people buying a home for them was represents being successful, having stability, having a sense of security, and even proving something to themselves. It's a sense of accomplishment. So when you start having these questions on whether or not you should still keep it and whether or not it makes sense versus, you know, selling, know that the guilt around this whole process can creep up really fast for you. You don't want to make a long term financial decision from a temporary emotional state. You don't want to make it from a sense of panic, feeling pressured, feeling a sense of embarrassment. You want facts, you want numbers, you want to know your options and a clear understanding of what your life could look like. Either way is where you want to make your decision from. Now, let's talk about the second thing that you really need to think through, and that's what is your home really costing you? I'm not just talking about your mortgage payment. I'm not talking about that mortgage payment. I am talking about the stuff that no one else is thinking about. Generally, people don't think about when they picture home ownership. I'm talking about the maintenance, the repairs, the property taxes, the insurance, the increases in utilities, maintenance, the stress, the managing of the house, the cleaning of the house, the repairing of the house, all of those things, because sometimes it's not the one expensive thing that wears down on people. It's the constant little things that happen over the time. It's the dishwasher that stopped working. It's the HVAC that needs the annual service. It's the plumbing issues that show up. It's the fence that has leaned after a storm. It's the roof that is aging. And suddenly everything that you get extra on your paycheck has already been allocated to go someplace. And maybe a few years ago, those things felt manageable. It was a breeze, like you had savings. And now that the economy is uncertain and the prices are increasing, everything is costing more. Even calling someone out for a basic repair feels expensive. What happens for a lot of homeowners is they slowly stop enjoying the home because the home starts to feel like a huge responsibility financially and on a day to day basis. They're constantly trying to keep up with the maintenance. And honestly, it's exhausting simply talking about it because sometimes the real issue is not, can I technically afford this house? Sometimes the deeper question is, what is the house costing me emotionally, mentally, and financially every single month? What opportunity is being delayed as a result of caring for this house? Could that money be helping you pay off your debt, build your savings, travel more, invest differently, retire sooner, sleep better at night? Because financial pressures impact more than your bank account. It impacts your peace. And I like to think that the part more people need permission on is just admitting the fact that it's more than the financial weight. Maybe it's about simplifying your life. Would and I think that's the part more people need permission to admit. Maybe simplifying your life would actually help you feel healthier. Maybe reducing that debt would repair relationships. Maybe your marriage could feel lighter. Maybe downsizing could create some of that breathing room that you haven't had for years. And That doesn't mean that you failed at anything. It may simply mean that your priorities have changed and they have shifted. If we have not met, I am Nayela Allen. I'm an Army veteran and a realtor in the Nashville area. One thing that I've noticed working with several hundred homeowners is that a lot of smart, hardworking people stay in homes that no longer fit their current lifestyle or fit their current season that they're in life simply because they feel guilty even considering another option. They think I should be grateful. I'm supposed to stay in this house forever. I should make it work. I already bought this house, so why do I make a change? And while gratitude matters when it comes to being proud of yourself and having a sense of accomplishment, so does wisdom. Because the goal is not simply to own the house, the goal is building a life that actually works for you financially. That includes your house, that includes the job, and all of those other things. So the third point that I would like you to consider and think about when it comes to either selling your home or keeping it is think about your equity as a strategic move, especially if you bought your home several years ago. There's a good chance your home has appreciated. And for some homeowners, the equity is sitting there, sitting in their house, and actually can be one of the largest financial tools that they have to have access to right now. And and here's where I want you to slow down. Simply slow down because just because you have equity does not automatically mean that you should sell. You need to understand what you would realistically walk away with, what debt could actually be eliminated, what monthly expenses would look like afterwards, and how much you would have in reserves, and understand whether selling creates a true relief or a temporary breathing spot for you. Because sometimes people sell their home, they pay off their debt, and then they recreate the same financial pressures and situations again a year later because nothing else has changed in our life. So you want to think strategically, not emotionally, not impulsively. You want to think about a strategy. So you ask yourself, what problem would selling actually solve for me today, tomorrow, and in the future? Would it reduce my stress? Would it eliminate the high interest debt that I'm currently carrying? Would it improve my monthly cash flow? Will I get more cash to be able to do other things with it? And would would it help you relocate for better opportunities? Would it reset you financially? Because if selling creates real stability and healthier financial positions long term, then it may absolutely be worth exploring. Next, I want you to determine where you would go next. Here's the part people sometimes avoid thinking about. It's like, where would you go? Because selling the house is only part of the equation. What matters is what your life looks like after your home is sold. Would you rent for a season? Would you move further out of the city? Would you downsize? Would you relocate? Would you purchase another house? Would you move closer to work? Would you reduce commuting costs? Sometimes the next move creates more freedom than the current house ever could. Lower utilities, lower maintenance, less stress, less pressure to constantly keep up with the house. Some people discover they don't actually want the house that's the biggest anymore. They want a sense of peace. They want some flexibility. They want margins in their finances. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want your next move to support your actual lifestyle. You don't want it to just impress other people. And you don't want to do it just to have something else to do. And the fifth thing I really want you to think through, this is the final point of this particular video. So stay, we only have a few minutes left. What are you willing to adjust financially before making a major decision? Because sometimes selling is the best move, and sometimes there are other options worth considering. And they're worth considering before you decide to sell. Like, could you rent out a room? Could you do some short term rental on part of the property? Could you cut unnecessary expenses temporarily and like for a year to see what room that would give you? Could you refinance? Could you downsize? Could you pause that luxury lifestyle? Could you not get your nails done on a regular basis? The goal is not just getting rid of a house and paying off the debt. The goal is reducing the pressure that comes along with it and to reduce, and begin creating more of a stability and financial stable life for yourself. And if you decide renting the property could work, make sure you think realistically about that as well. Tenants, maintenance, vacancy periods, repairs, insurance, property management, all of those things, because owning rental property is a type of business. And that's a whole nother structure of finances that you would need to be concerned with. You want to make sure that the strategy actually supports your lifestyle instead of adding another layer of stress. I want to say this clearly. There's absolutely no shame in realizing you want a different kind of life right now. No shame in wanting less pressure, no shame in wanting smaller expenses, and there's no shame in wanting peace. Sometimes the smartest financial move is not holding on to something simply because society told you you were supposed to do it. Sometimes wisdom looks like adjusting, pivoting, simplifying your life, repositioning yourself financially before things become overwhelming. And that's not failure. That's maturity, that's strategy, that's forward thinking. So before deciding whether to sell your home to pay off that debt, here are the 5 things I want you to think through. Don't make the decision emotionally. Understand what your home is worth and what it's truly costing you. Evaluate the equity strategically. Determine what your next chapter would realistically look like and decide what financial adjustments you're willing to make moving forward, because the goal is not simply to sell your home. The goal is creating a healthier financial life overall. If this video helped you think through this situation differently, let me know in the comments. If you are in the Nashville area and trying to figure out whether selling makes sense financially for your situation, connect with me below. I'm Nayela Allen, and I encourage you to keep envisioning you, because the next move should support the life you truly want moving forward. And I'll see you in the next video.